Hello everyone, welcome back to English with Aisha Siddiqui. I hope you all are fit and healthy. You all are taking all precautions from the virus. And today we'll be doing a topic of special English for the second year of BA students. It is the starting of the book of third semester and introduction to poetry, wherein we have already done what is poetry, the main topic of poetry, why poetry is required, which side of the brain is actually activated while doing poetry, and also few kinds of poetries. For the ones who need to see these videos, you all can go back and watch my videos. If you like it, do give a thumbs up and subscribe the channel. Also, if you like this video, the content of the video, you all can give a thumbs up. Today we'll be doing the elements of poetry, a very important topic for poetry, why it is required, what all things are required while making or writing a poetry. These questions can come in your examinations. The most common mistakes that students make is they start doing poetries. That means the main poetries in the book. This is the book that I'm referring to. And students start making a mistake that they directly learn or they start reading the poetries that is the first poetry like Nightingale, Sonnet, The Sun Rising, and all. Yes, these poetries are necessary, but the introduction of poetry is very, very important. The theory of poetry, wherein all the concepts are cleared regarding poetry, and later on, the poetries have been started. So people miss out this part and they directly jump up to the poetries. But major marks are depending on this theory of poetry. So let's start with it. We'll be doing the elements of poetry. Elements of poetry. The first element of poetry is lines. What do you mean by lines in a poetry? A line, a single line in a poem, often organized into stanzas. So many lines together that forms one stanza, but one single line is known. That's the main important part of poetry. Chartless Emily Dixon, it's an example given here. So let's see the example. I never saw a moor, I never saw the sea. Yet I know how the heather looks and what a wave must be. Now you can see the numbering put there. I never spoke with God nor visited in heaven, yet I'm certain of the spot as if the chart were given. So there are 8 lines in a poetry, but these 8 lines are divided into two stanzas. They are organized into two stanzas. The first 4 lines makes first stanza, and the next 4 lines make the second stanza. So y'all got what is a stanza? That means one rhyme is connected to it. Like you can see moor, look, see, be, God, spot, heaven, given. So these are the rhymes that are there, and one stanza has 4 lines. So lines is one element of poetry. The first element of poetry is lines. Okay. The second element of poetry is stanza. It is a group of lines. Just now I said when you there are 4 lines in the first example that are given that makes one stanza. Let's move ahead. It is the group of lines. Couplet, that means 2 lines. Triplet is 3 lines. Quatrain is 4 lines. Quadrille 5 lines. Sestet 6 lines, and octet 8 lines. So a stanza can be developed from 8 lines maximum, not more than that. This is the most important key part of it because you all can get this in your exam. How many maximum lines can be put into a stanza? It develops and emphasizes one idea. So one stanza mostly emphasizes one idea, not more than that, and it is maximum of 8 lines. So 2 lines is known as a couplet, 3 lines triplet, and so on. There's an example given here. First and Last by David McCord. A tape pole hasn't a pole at all, and he doesn't live in a hole in the wall. That means there are two lines that is making one stanza here. You've got it wrong. A polecat's not. A cat on a pole, and I'll tell you what. This is the second stanza. A bullfrog's never a bull, and how could a cowbird possibly be a cow? The third stanza. A kingbird, though, is a king of king, and he chases a crow like anything. This is the fourth stanza. So altogether in this poem, there are four stanzas divided into two lines. Now you'll see each stanza has one topic, and the other stanza has changed the topic. In the second stanza, the topic is changed. So in the first stanza, you see the topic is about tadpole, right? And in the second one, it's about polecats. Then the third is bullfrogs, and the fourth is kingbird. So one stanza has one topic in it, wherein a rhyme is made, such as a rhyme scheme in this. You can see all wall, not what. In the third stanza, it's how cow. In the fourth stanza, it's king anything. So you can see a rhyme is made into all of these stanzas, and each stanza has one own topic of its. Let's move forward to the third element of the poetry, rhyme and rhyme scheme. And what do you mean by rhyme? Words rhyme if they sound alike. Now, many people get confused that rhyme and spelling of the poetry is same. So, spelling of the words does not mean it's rhyming. Rhyming only depends on the sound, and it is only and it does not depend on the spelling. So, words rhyme if they sound alike. Poems often use rhymes at the end of the lines. To just have a creative mood, poems use rhyming words at the end. Rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhymes in the poem. It is named as A B A B, or C A B C A B C. So it depends on the rhyming words, how many rhyming words are there, and therefore the rhyming scheme is put. We will be learning about the rhyming scheme in the coming videos. Then poets use rhymes to add a musical sound to the poems. Now, everyone knows poems that we heard when we were a little kid, we still remember it. Why? Only because there was a specific sound or music given to it, such as Johnny, Johnny. You know that, right? Everyone knows it. Why? Why is it so common and everyone knows it? Because it's the most common thing that we learned when we were a child, and also because it has a typical music given to it, right? Or such as Twinkle, Twinkle, or any other nursery rhymes that you pick up. Everything such as Old MacDonald had a farm. So if you all know nursery rhymes, and we have done when we were growing, all of the nursery rhymes have been given a music, a sound to it, for more enhancing. And you remember music more things when you learn it in a musical way, more than in just reading it. So that's why poems are mostly given music, and to give a more musical effect, rhymes are put in the poem. The fourth type, okay, now we will go to types of rhymes over here. So, how there are rhymes in a poetry. The first one is alliteration. What do you mean by alliteration? Repetition of the initial consonant sound. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now you can see in the whole sentence there is S S S S in the beginning. So whenever there's one letter repeated in the beginning of the words in one whole sentence, it is known as alliteration. That is also put into poetries to give a musical effect. Now, what is consonance? A repetition of the intermediate or final consonant sound. That is tick tock, flip flop, singing, longing. That means repetition of the immediate or final consonant. You can see t, t, f, f, s, l. So you can just rhyme it. Otherwise, it can be opposite or similar. Repetition of it. What is assonance now? These are the types of rhymes that I'm talking about. So please be careful. Do not confuse it into the elements. In the elements, it's only rhyme and rhyme scheme. But to move forward in detailing of rhyme, I am giving this in order. So it's alliteration, consonance, and assonance. Let's see what's assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds. What do you mean by vowel sounds? Here, the mellow wedding bells, golden bells. What a world of happiness their harmony foretells. Now you can see everywhere the E is repeated, or you can see the rhyme bells, bells, foretells. So the vowel sound is repeated over here. In assonance, the vowel sound is repeated. In consonance, the final consonant sound is repeated. And in alliteration, only the first consonant sound is repeated. Let's see what is rhythm. Rhythm, a pattern of beats or a series of stressed and unstressed syllables in poem. Poets create rhythm by using words in which parts are emphasized or not emphasized. Now, what do you mean by rhythm? It's a type of music put to it, where some words are more emphasized and some are on a lighter note, only to show that something is much more important. Windy Nights by Robert Louis Stevenson. You can hear it whenever the moon and stars are set. So you can see whenever the moon and stars are set. So wherever you can see the red mark, it's actually highlighted. The rhythm goes up so that it is more highlighted in the poetry. For example, if I give you a very common example of a nursery rhyme, such as if you see twinkle, twinkle, little star goes down. How I wonder what you are. So how I wonder goes a little up and what you are goes down. So it's like a music, a rhythm given into it, wherein few words are highlighted and emphasized to bring out more meaning to it, and few words are brought down. Or you can even see old MacDonald had a farm, and then they actually scream E-I-E-I-O. So that is actually the main rhythm given to it. Okay, the next element here of poetry is meter and foot. Let's see meter. It is the measure of a line in a poetry. Now, measure does not mean actually to take a tape and measure it. Let's see what is measuring thing in poetry. Foot. Now, foot is not actually what you find a foot in mathematics, but it is a group of two or more syllables making a basic unit of meter. Foot is the basic unit of meter. Okay, now let's see types of metrical foot. Types of metrical foot. Iambic foot consists of unaccented syllable followed by an accented. Okay, it can be heard in such words as because, hello. Okay, trochaic foot consists of an accented syllable followed by an unaccented. These are trochaic words: answer, Tuesday, Albert. These are the words. So let's see how many types are there first. Iambic, trochaic, dactylic, anaspathic, and spondylic, pyrrhic. So there are 6 in total. Yeah, there are 6 in total. Let's go to dactylic. Dactylic foot consists of an accented syllable followed by 2 accented syllables. You can hear the dactylic beat in the words. Beautiful, silently, Saturday. So always it's connected to 2 syllables. Anapistic foot consists of 2 unaccented syllables followed by an accented syllable. These words are anapistic, like caliver or cavalier, tambourine, Marianne. So all these words are, it comes into the anapistic foot. Spondylic foot consists of 2 accented syllables. That is it. Okay, then pyrrhic is, it consists of 2 unaccented syllables. Now let's see what the element mood in a poetry. Mood is the feeling that a poem creates in a reader. what feeling, what emotions are put into the reader's mind while reading the poetry is known as the mood of the poetry. It can be positive or negative, such as I've done few poetries in the first year optional English. That is, you can see William Shakespeare sonnet. It's a sad mood shown in it, or even The World is Too Much with Us, where William Wordsworth is talking about how people are more connected to materialistic things and not to nature. So that is also into a very sad, that is negative mood. So it actually brings out the mood of the poetry. Mood can be made with the length of the sentences, chosen words, and word sounds. So mood can be created with all these things. Let's see the given example here. Short words and lines create a serious mood. So whenever there are very short words and short lines, it is serious. And whenever there are little more longer lines, then it's a more positive one. These words create the feeling of sadness. So why it creates the feeling? Because it's very short. Whenever there are short words and short lines. Now, whenever you are sad, for example, or anyone who is sad, they don't talk too much, right? Nobody will like to jabber, right? Whenever we are sad. Similarly, in a poem, when a sad mood is shown, it's not written in too much detailing. In very short words, in short lines, everything is written. For example, I heard of poor, it means hungry, no food, no shoes, no place to live, nothing good. You saw that it is so touching and so emotional. It actually comes and brings to that mood that we're talking about, people who are hungry, who have nothing to eat, nowhere to live, right? That brings us into a sad mood, brings that mood of sadness in us with the short lines in it. It means winter nights and being cold. It is lonely alone, feeling old. Poor is a tired face. Poor is thin. Poor is standing outside looking in. You saw that all the short words and short lines are put, and you can see the mood is sad over here. Now let's move to the other element of poetry, and that is tone. It is the attitude a writer takes towards the subject or audience of the poem. For example, the crocodile. Now, here, the subject of the poem is crocodile. The writer's attitude towards crocodile is that they are dangerous. Now, here it is showing a feeling of danger in it, right? So, the tone itself will tell you the crocodile, how doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the water of the Nile on every golden scale. How cheerfully he seems to grin, that is showing his teeth. He neatly spreads his claws and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. You saw that it's a happening poem, but you can see the tone that it's scaring you, right? That the crocodiles are dangerous. So the tone itself tells you that. Okay. Till here, the elements of the poetry is done. I hope you all understood it, and really you all got something knowledgeable to learn from it. These are elements of poetry wherein you all will be learning. All these things can come in your exams as name the elements of poetry or even describe each element of poetry. So you have to write in detail about each and every element of poetry. Thank you so much. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up.